So Liverpool had a chance to go top after Manchester City lost, but Tottenham and the VAR officials had their own issues going on. The PGMOL, who are the referees governing body, have issued an apology saying that there was a VAR error, that the VAR failed, first of all, to acknowledge the incident, and that some issues to do with VAR not flagging because they thought that the goal had already been accepted. Some very weird excuse. Yeah, let me start off with you on that one. Darren England and his assistant, Mr. Cook, say that this is what happened. According to them, they thought that the goal had been allowed to stand on the pitch, and so there was no need for VAR to intervene. One, I find that very interesting and almost bogus because, first of all, if you're watching, the on-field linesman had flagged for offside.
Yes.
So, first of all, I'm not sure what he's talking about. Secondly, there was a VAR review, but it was very different from what we typically know. A VAR review that did not show us the lines that were drawn. And so maybe that's what he's referring to.
And that's not the first time that you have a goal disallowed and the lines haven't been drawn. That's not the first time it has happened in the EPL. That's not the first. I think it was last season, the latter part of last season or earlier this season. You had a similar situation where a goal was scored and the lines, the VAR lines to determine if a player was offside or onside were not drawn. And it hurt a team. And so these are the things that bring about the frustrations. Look, I'm all for technology being included in sports because at the end of the day, we live in the 21st century. There's AI on the rise in the groove right now. This is how sports is going to be viewed in the near future. So why not try it now? There's a lot of money involved in sports now. So you need the decisions to be made right. And that's why more and more encouragement is being given for technology to be involved in the running of sports, in the administering of sports games and competitions. But if you have a situation where it has rather come to mess things up and bring about even more confusion, then why even bring it in the first place? Because there's so much inconsistency when it comes to VAR.
Liverpool,
and that is the
Liverpool
biggest
released a
talking
statement.
point.
They said sporting integrity has been undermined.
Yeah, it's the consistency. And when you look at the fact that, take VAR aside, you look at the human element, bring in the referee's performance. Even on in that situation where Diogo Jota was given his second yellow card, Udogie, the player he fouled, had to also be given a yellow card and should have also been sent off because he motioned to the referee that he should give Diogo Jota a yellow card. And that per the rules of this season's EPL.
And I've seen it given.
It's punishable by a yellow card. So why didn't he get the yellow card? It's the inconsistencies that just drive everyone crazy. And it's not healthy at all for the competition, for the fans, and for the investors and sponsors. Because at this point in time, people are losing money. Because if you're Liverpool...
These 3 points might cost Liverpool at the end of the season.
Oh, yes. It might end up being what determines a team that makes it to the Champions League, a team that makes it to the Europa League, or nothing. So these 3 points, it could be massive at the end of the season.
And your takeaways from that VR incident?
Look, I read the PGOML statements and I thought it's absolute rubbish. Is it going to give Liverpool the points back?
He said it was a clear and factual error.
Is it going to give Diaz his goal back?
Nope.
That's one start lost for him. Is it going to give Salah his assist back? No. This point probably might cost Liverpool. Who knows? It might have been
especially
3 points,
because of how close
point.
Liverpool and Manchester City races have been in recent years.
Exactly. And I feel that there's a lot of... you can split the blame between the actual VAR system and the officials. I felt that obviously it was clearly onside. If you looked at it from the face of it, it was onside. The explanation was that, as you said, they felt the goal had been given, so it was a check to see whether there was something wrong with it. That's why there were no lines, because they didn't even think about offside. They were checking to see if it was legitimate. So
once the flag
the
came
final
out,
decision was check completed. That was it. And once
just weird.
once the law say once if the free kick has been taken, they
They
can't
cannot go back to
Yes.
review it.
and they only notice the mistake after
After.
the free kick had been taken. There's a deficiency with that system. And I want to go back to the Jota red card. The second red, that was silly from Jota. He shouldn't have done that right after taking the first yellow card. But go back to the first yellow card. Udogie basically tripped himself. That shouldn't have been a yellow card. The VAR doesn't check yellow card offenses. But when these two offenses lead to a red card, you have to make sure your bases are covered. If the first one was a legitimate yellow card, it doesn't do that because VAR doesn't allow that. That is a deficiency that the system must solve. There are a lot of problems with VAR at the moment, but it shouldn't affect the game. The Premier League has a lot of resources, as Yao said. The resources are put in to make it the best league in the world in terms of coverage, in terms of play, but in terms of refereeing as well. You can say that humans are allowed to make mistakes.
And
That's
they had
fine.
a chance, and they had a chance to use the World Cup.
I was just about to say
They had a
that.
chance to use the World Cup style of VAR, where it's automated. You don't need to have the referee signal for something different for it to be triggered before you go and review it. Once you are offside, there's a signal that pops up that you are offside, and everyone sees it. But with this, there has to be a process that gets started before. But the point is, you had a chance to include this in your rules. You had a chance to include this in the Premier League this season, and they voted against it. And that for me was very disappointing, knowing very well that this sort of situations was bound to pop up.
I was saying that I get that referees are allowed to make mistakes. They are humans. But the Premier League has put in so many resources to educate, to train these referees, to make them at least the best in the world, the standard. Unfortunately, they are the worst right now. They are so bad.
Yeah. Premier League referees really not covering themselves in a lot of glory. Liverpool say they are exploring all options. I'm wondering what they will do because that's game gone, points gone. I'm not sure how that will be recovered.